don't move.
Don't scream.
And whatever you do,
don't breathe. Hi, I'm Gory Movie.
I'm Danny Nightmare.
And we're horror addicts. And today, we're reviewing Don't Breathe. Don't Breathe is written and directed by Fede Alvarez, who directed the remake of Evil Dead back in 2013. And if you saw that one, it's pretty awesome.
And speaking of Evil Dead, this movie stars Jane Levy as Rocky, alongside with her boyfriend Money and her friend zone buddy Alex.
These three characters are in dire straits and they desperately want to get out of Detroit and move to California. But to do that, they need money.
Struggle is real.
They already have experience robbing houses, so they just need this one big last heist to get them out of Detroit for good.
And this final score sounds like easy pickings. An old blind man with loads of cash, living out in a deserted neighborhood. What they don't count on is he's ex-military. He recently lost his daughter, and he's a total badass with nothing to live for. So
we're gonna give you the good, the bad, and the gory. Holy balls, this movie is intense. Right from the get-go, we get a little bit of setup on the plot and the characters, and then boom, we are in this situation with the characters, and this is a fully immersive horror experience. This experience is due in a large part to their use of sound. All of the sounds in this film are amplified. Also, the use of lighting, or in some cases, the lack of lighting. I was particularly impressed by things like the gunshots, which we see guns fire all the time in films, and it's something that we just take for granted. In this film, when guns go off, there's that burst of light and that crack of the bullet leaving the gun.
One of the things that added the suspense to this movie for me was just the camera work. The way it moved around through the house is almost as if it was its own character. I felt if I moved, I might get shot.
Yeah, this is a movie that does not let up. Just when I think I'd have this movie figured out, there'd be another new twist, and the level of danger for the characters would be heightened.
And I have to say, the blind guy, played by Stephen Lang, was fantastic. He had me on edge the whole movie. There was parts where I sympathized with him, there was parts where I was disgusted with him, and the whole time I was afraid of him.
That was the awesome thing about this movie, is none of these characters is painted the perfect good guy or the perfect bad guy. All of the characters are easy to empathize with, but they're not perfect people. I mean, you've got our hero characters robbing a blind guy, and the blind guy, he's a pretty depraved character, but you understand how he got there.
And as for the Rottweiler, played by 3 different dogs, it was intense and probably the scariest use of a dog since Cujo.
That dog scared the crap out of me, and there was some definite throwbacks in there to Cujo that made me really happy as a horror fan and terrified me as a human being. And since we mentioned the dog, we've got to mention Jane Levy and Dylan Minnette. They were fantastic in this film. You root for these characters, and their performances are what really made this work. You feel like these are really good people doing really bad things, and you want them to be okay. I also want to commend Fede Alvarez. This film does not talk down to us as an audience. It doesn't over-explain everything. You were thrown right into the mix of things. And it goes for the score as well. It's not one of those musical scores that comes up and lets you know, hey, it's time to be scared now, or it's time to be sad. It's very subtle. Between this and Evil Dead, Fede Alvarez has really shown that he is a true master of horror, and I cannot wait to see what he does next. The two things that did really upset me are, one, the trailer. I highly recommend, if you haven't seen the trailer already, go into this movie blind, because the trailer reveals some pretty big plot points.
Blind, like what you did there. Also, the opening is one of those scenes where they're showing you a little bit of what happens in the end. I don't really care for when movies do that.
Particularly in a movie like this that is so driven by suspense, you don't want to know what's coming. Okay, so this isn't a splatterfest, but it is definitely a cringe fest.
The gore isn't over the top, but the violence is very real and highly impactful. And there's some really messed up things in this movie.
This movie proves that you don't need buckets of blood to gross people out.
Yeah, I was kind of heaving there at one point.
So, should you see it? If you're a horror fan, and I'm assuming you are because you're watching this channel, you do not want to miss this movie in theaters.
Now, you don't even have to be a horror fan to love this movie. I think this is going to pull in a lot of people who enjoy thrillers and suspense as well.
Hey guys, if you like this video and you want to see more new release horror movie reviews, please hack that thumbs up button. And leave a comment below. Let us know what your favorite suspenseful horror movie is.
Thanks for watching.